Bloody Roar 2, the new breed.
Holy shit, a PlayStation game on Retro Core. You don't see that very often, do you? As you can tell from the title screen, this is Bloody Roar 2.
Alice the Rabbit, Yuriko the Half-Beast.
A very Virtual Fighter-esque beat-em-up from Hudson. In fact, no, I think it was actually programmed by Xing, or Eiting, or Raising, or one of the Japanese game companies. As you can see, the main gimmick to Bloody Roar is that you can morph into beasts or animals. And quite fitting that the cute little nurse turns into a cute little bunny. Nice attack there. Now once you transform into your beast, you're allowed to pull off more powerful moves and certain special attacks, which I won't go into too much detail because I don't really know. What I can tell you is when you do turn into the beast, you can really kick ass. So as you can see, the game looks really nice and it plays really well too. It plays a lot more like, how I'd say, Fighting Vipers or Birchfight, more like a Sega, a 3D fighter than a Namco one. Which to me is a good thing because, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Tekken, and this plays a lot more like, as I said, the Sega 3D fighting games. Not too sure what the purists will think about those special moves, but it's a good laugh nonetheless. So if you're after a nice 3D fighter for your PlayStation, I can certainly recommend Bloody Roar 2. It's fast, it's fun, and it's got a lot of characters.
You
Also known as Two Crude Dudes, this is Data's take on the war-ridden future that many movies of the mid-90s seem to like to feature. In fact, I can't help but think there's a bit of a Robocop vibe going on in this game. So you take control of one of two brothers who go around kicking ass. Really basic stuff really, you just walk along and punch and kick. But one thing which I do really like about this game is the ability to pick up pretty much any of the background objects and throw them at the enemies. Or there's nothing better than picking up a car and throwing it at a load of bad guys. Unfortunately, you'd think it'd be a lot easier to attack the people than it actually is. The main problem is your guy is so stocked up on steroids that his arms are now really short compared to his body size. Oh, a nice little jiggle there. So once you complete a stage, you get the chance to beat the crap out of a Coke machine or drinks machine. Unfortunately, by the time you get to this drinks machine, you've already died and regained all your energy anyway. But luckily, these drinks machines can also be found within the levels, which is very handy when you want to stock up on energy. Crude Busters, I can't help but feel it does get a little bit repetitive. See, the thing is, the levels aren't that long, but you spend so much time in the same area on each stage that it just sort of drag on a little bit. And the fact that, as I mentioned before, your punch reach is very short, it does get quite annoying at times when you're attacked from all sides by different enemies. But then again, not many games are perfect, and this one's still quite enjoyable, especially if you're into that old style beat 'em up game. And what's better, you can punch a dog in the face. Oh, I'm sure dog lovers won't like that. So compared to the arcade, it's a pretty decent conversion. May not be a game for everyone, but if you're into beat 'em ups and you're on a Mega Drive owner, maybe it's worth checking out. Just be aware that the Japanese version does seem to go for a little bit more money than the Western version. I don't know why, it seems to be a bit of a cult classic in Japan. Good old Indiana Jones Chronicles. Oh, how I loved this game when it first came out, and how much I anticipated it to be the ultimate action game. Featuring 3 Indiana Jones movies, how could you go wrong? It's also produced by Factor 5, the same people behind Super Turrican. Those very talented German folks really did make good games. So again, how could you go wrong with Indiana Jones Adventures? So as mentioned, the game does feature all 3 at the time, all 3 movies from the Indiana Jones trilogy. This was made in the 90s, don't forget. And each individual movie opens with digitized scenes from the movie. You also get cutscenes in between certain levels as well. The presentation really is top notch, it's very impressive. Such as when you go from one area to another, you get that overhead view of the map, and Indy's plane will fly from one continent to the other with the little red line following it, just like the movie. It looks really, really good. And the music is half decent. The Indiana Jones main theme could have been a lot better, I thought. But yeah, it's pretty decent presentation wise. But then you start playing the game and then you think, oh, hang on a minute, these levels are pretty poorly designed. Take this level for example. You have to play it over and over and over again before you can complete the level, because there's no way you'll know where those traps will pop out the floor without playing the stage over and over and over again. And you've got to be that far to the end of the screen, otherwise the ball's going to run over you. This stage's got some nasty level design flaws as well. Pits where you just fall down because you can't see the bottom. And snowballs which are really no bigger than Indy's legs, which take off quite a bit of damage. By the way, we're in Nepal, just in case you're wondering. Now, with all the many different types of action that feature in the Indiana Jones movies, you'd expect them to put a bit more variety into this game. For example, this stage could have been a nice shooting stage, a bit like Wild Guns or something, or maybe Sunset Riders. But no, it's more platform action. In fact, 95% of the game is platform action. And it's really dull. Now, I wouldn't mind if the controls were really good, but the controls aren't very good. Indiana Jones is extremely stiff to control, and sometimes it doesn't really go where you want him to go either. In fact, getting an anal evacuation is a lot more pleasant than playing this game. So we move on to the Temple of Doom, and of course before this cabaret scene you do get the digitized opening sequences. This is like the idea of a gun section. Just have Indy jumping around like a tit, trying to avoid crosshairs on the screen. Yeah. Now this section of the game is where Indy drops down into the car and a short round starts driving all around Chinatown. Why didn't they make a driving section? I don't remember Indy jumping all over the place. No. Ah, here we go, a slight change of pace. It's a shame it's got the same background music as all the other levels though. So yeah, that basically sums up Indiana Jones Adventures. You know, considering it's made by Factor 5, you'd expect a hell of a lot more than what you're getting in this. Sure, it's got loads of levels, it does follow the movies quite well, but the fact is, all the levels are the exact same thing. Very dull, very poorly designed platform sections with terrible respawning, and I fucking hate respawning. So yeah, what could have been the ultimate Indiana Jones game is just mediocre.
I've lost it.
Actually, that's the best part of the game there. Good picture, Sean.